Why do some smart people stay invisible? I've been someone who's been considered quite smart, and yet I felt like I was pretty invisible. I wasn't getting that visibility. And in today's podcast, I'm going to talk around some tips that really help me increase my profile and get out of the world and increase growth in my career and business. Disclaimer: any of the guidance offered by the podcast host, myself, or the podcast guests is our own guidance. We are not liable for any of the actions the podcast listener decides to do. Welcome back to the podcast. So this is a topic that I thought was worth bringing up from recent experience. Now, I also do sales, and honestly, when I started sales, I was terrified to speak to people. It was like, oh my God, they're going to judge me for asking them for money. And, that's not how my sales call goes, right? I don't start off by asking for money. Obviously, have a conversation and understand them, but it used to be frightful. But sales is something I do, and I've had a very long project management career. I've had a coaching business, various different things I've done. I remember being in my career and being like really shy, like I didn't even want to say my name in front of people, and I wanted to stay invisible. I was invisible. I wasn't getting any progression in my career. When I started off thinking about I want to do a coaching business, I was completely invisible. And I brought this up because in my sales related role, I've been speaking to people in a recent sales period we've had. And what I notice is there's a lot of people, past and present, who have been very qualified in terms of either education, certifications, going to a personal growth event and quoting all the Tony Robbins quotes, all the spiritual quotes out there as well. And they'd learned a lot, and they feel like they're just not moving forward, or that their business isn't growing, or they're just stuck. And therefore I started to touch on this. I've also been on those calls where, not too many, but now and then someone tries to talk about like how much they know, but yet the results in their life don't really show much for it. And there's a difference. Now, there are some very smart, I'm not saying all smart people are invisible by this podcast. I'm saying, and what do you call smart, right? What do you call intelligent? It's up to you. But I'm saying there's a lot of people very intellectually smart, learned a lot, been to a lot of personal growth, can quote all the theories, who don't have the results in life. They're not visible. They're not able to get out there. And maybe you're relating to this. So that's why I wanted to talk about this today. Now, what have I really narrowed this down to from my own case? Because I was someone who was like going for education, came out of university and is like, well, I'm really smart. But I was super shy. I didn't have much confidence. I went through a lot of personal growth and I just wasn't getting myself out there. I wasn't growing a business. And I've definitely noticed this as a pattern in my own life. And what I've really put it down to is things like overthinking. Sometimes when we're so intelligent, we know so much, we have so much information that we do nothing with it. When actually, there's a lot of people out there who didn't go for education and they've accomplished big things. There's many examples, like Sir Alan Sugar comes to mind. He started business very early. One of my teachers, Peter Sage, he has been on entrepreneur since he's 17. He always claims that he does not really know much in terms of the education, right? And he just went out there, and the thing is, these guys took continuous action. Now, the tip's not just take action, although that's a key one. There's a bit more to it than that. But I've noticed, why is it people like Peter Sage, Alan Sugar, who've got this massive reputation out there and brand and really recognised by many people? The Tony Robbins is a good example as well. Didn't have much education, but then from 17 years old, he went out, started learning and just started implementing and trying to sell what he learned straight away. And these people are just, there's a certain way about people who are very visible. It's taking action. They're not always the people who know the most. They're people who take a lot of action. So I believe we overthink because we know too much, but we also overthink because we don't trust ourselves. And that's certainly been the case for me. Now, how do you trust yourself? We're going to go into that as well. But just ask yourself, are you that kind of person who's like learned a lot, but you just feel like you're not as visible as you could be in your career, in your business? Maybe you're doing a bit of both. You've got a career, you're working for someone and you own your own little business on the side, or maybe you've got a full-time business, right? But ask yourself, is it that you overthink because you don't really trust yourself? Well, we're going to go into that today. So here are the 3 things that have really helped me increase my visibility. And when I've done things like this, I grew in my career, And I wasn't even the smartest person there. Like most of the times, I've grown through my career, but definitely not being super skilled at the job. But my ability to put myself out there, take action, speak up, and be visible in front of people has got me promotions. I will tell you, it's made a massive difference, my ability to be able to present and speak. Now, I'm not the best presenter in the world, but it is recognised. People always recognise those people who put their hands up and speak. Now, I'm just going to call this out because I'm very passionate about this. So people say, well, I'm just a shy person. You're labelling yourself as a shy person. You've been displaying behaviour to this point whereby you're trying to pull away because you don't want people to discover who you are, right? Now, there are these labels like introverts, extroverts, all that kind of thing. And yeah, feel free to use what you want. And yeah, some people like to be by themselves more. Some people like being around other people more. Yeah, 100%, we're all different. But it's like, are those labels empowering you, what you describe yourself as? But when I started, and I wasn't always like this, I was terrified to put myself on camera. I remember my first Instagram live. I was like, oh my God, what are people going to think of me? Like my first YouTube video, I kept procrastinating for about 3 months, which was crazy. When I did it, I started really enjoying it. And I put myself up on a podcast, of course. So this is both video, this is going to be YouTube and audio, of course. But that really helped me grow and get visible. So I want to go over these 3 points. So let's dive into the first one. The first one is validate yourself as a human for your attributes, not your achievements, and for your effort as well. Your efforts and your attributes, not your achievements. So what I mean by that is often we're like, oh, well, I've been through that new personal growth thing, or I joined that course where I learned a lot more. You know, I've been guilty of that, a personal growth junkie. I just go from course to course. I know there's so many, fortunately, I know quite a few like coaches who go from course to course to course and then put themselves out there. And the ones who really make a difference are the ones who just go, okay, I know enough, and execute. But look at yourself as an individual, as recognizing your attributes. Because if we get so tied to results and what we've done, then we're always at risk because of the outcomes not in our control. But if you look at yourself like, wow, I was really committed to that habit. Wow, I have really been resilient over my challenges over the year. Wow, I really put a lot of effort into me, even though like maybe something at the beginning is hard, you put a lot of effort into you. And when you can write those things down, just write one thing each night, each morning for yourself, and just feel it. Recognize the character within you, because the more you can connect to that, the more you're going to love yourself. You're going to trust yourself, and therefore when you trust yourself, you can be more of you as well, and you're going to put yourself more out there. Number 2, and the third one's a big one, but I'm going to go through these in this order. Number 2, there's only 3 because I want to keep it simple. What is your actual goal? Like, what is it you're looking for? Because often people lose sight of that. It's like, oh, wow, I want to do that next course, that next program. I'm not saying don't do programs and things like that. 100% do it if it's the next logical move or the next thing that feels right. You know, I like to think I try to come from the heart more than just the head, but I use the head to support me and logically think things through as well. But like, if you're like, for example, you've done a few programs. Let's say you've done a few programs in business. Let's use an entrepreneur example. And you therefore like your next goal is to make, let's just start at like £10,000 a month or $10,000. I know they're slightly different values, and they don't equate, but let's say $10,000 a month. You want to make $10,000 a month. And then you go, okay, right, I'm going to learn this, and this. And actually, you keep an idea of the goal. And by the way, money's always good to be tied to something. Why do you want the money? Not just you want a bunch of numbers with you, but you want it for something. But like, then when you can see the goal, you're going to be able to understand your direction. When you can understand your direction, it's going to help you be making progress and feel better about yourself and real about yourself when you get honest on what the goal is. So that's key. And then the third one is really, really key. Be really honest with yourself, coming off the back of the last one, on what the needle mover is. What is the needle mover? Because a lot of people will be like, okay, I need the next course or program. Do you really? Or do you just need to get out there and promote your business? All right. I need to do more confidence training on public speaking in your career. That may be true at a certain point. Do you need to do another training course, or do you actually just need to put your hand up and say, I'd like to lead the next workshop? Get very honest, brutally. I'm not telling you what it is because only you know. I'm just guiding you. Get brutally honest on what the next needle mover is. For me, I'll use an example in my own life. I was like, right, I want to progress in my career. I want to grow it. I realized I needed to get myself in front of people. And a good way to do that was do team meetings. And I was terrified of public speaking. This is another pet peeve of me. People who go like, so and so is just naturally good at public speaking. Whilst yes, some people have more abilities than others. It's like the story that you can't public speak is complete bullshit and you've made it up. I'm sorry, or it's bullshit. Everyone can speak publicly. It's just people like to be kept safe, so they go, oh, I can't publicly speak. I was terrified. I've seen so many people overcome. So, like, for example, I'm trying to be brutally honest just to help you, right? And it's not a like, click the switch or suddenly, oh yeah, I can go and do anything. No, there's actual points to it. But for me, it was like, right, the next needle movers, put my hand up and volunteer. And I did it, and I was terrified, and I was nervous, and I was all over the place. As a result, I grew in confidence, and I got recognised, and my career progressed. My next needle mover was to start a YouTube channel, my business. I was terrified, and I did it, and it grew my reputation, mostly through the form of audio podcasting, but I was able to therefore impact a lot of listeners around the world, such as yourself listening. So thank you very much for listening, and attract some really great friends and networks and opportunities and monetization actually from the podcast as well, because of the fact that I did the thing that I needed to do to grow my visibility, and not I need to do another bit of public speaking course, or I need to do more rehearsals before I start. So I get brutally honest with that. So those are the 3 points. I just want to recap them for you one more time. So number 1, so what we've been talking about today, of course, is getting yourself more visible, recognized, progressing further. If you're someone who's like smart, learned a lot, but you don't feel like you're moving. So number 1 is validate yourself, not for your achievements and these paper on the wall or whatever. Validate yourself for your attributes, because the more you connect to that true essence of who you are, the more you're going to feel recognizing yourself, and that's going to radiate into your life. Number 2, what is your goal, right? Not what is my next task to do, what is your outcome? And then number 3, getting very honest on what the essential needle mover or needle movers are to get towards that. Not that I need to join another course, need to do another pro. That can be a truth at certain points. So that may be actually right at the beginning. Maybe it's like hire that coach or whatever. But like, do you need to learn more, or do you need to implement and execute, taking that action? So that's what I got for you today. That, in my experience, is how people really gain visibility and get themselves out there, and therefore grow their career and their business, because it certainly worked for me, and I've certainly seen it for many other people. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.